Welcome back. It's time for my campaign update, and this part of it is part three, State of the World. I am Susan Maud Buchser-Lochocki, and so the world, slowly over this year since Trump has been in office, he has made quite a few changes, which is fine, but now they're coming together. And I think his concern about the rest of the world and Christianity is taking on a missionary feel to it, where he wants to maybe lead the crusades further and further Christianity. And this is unacceptable to me because we are a country that is not a religious country. We are supposed to have freedom from religion. Yes, a lot of the people who set up the country in the first place were Christian. And Christianity follows the Old Testament, which is Judaism. So there is a Jewish Christian undertone. But there were also atheists in the founding fathers, and agnostic, ones who only believed in a deity but didn't believe in any one Christianity or something like that. And then there's all these divisions and schisms within Christianity. So, no, we are not a Christian nation. We are not missionaries for Jesus, and we will not be promoting with our military any Christian ideology. Now, I watched President Trump slowly take over the military, which technically he is the commander-in-chief of the military, so that is perfectly understandable. But his recent moves, turning it to the Department of War, and then more recently, just yesterday, declaring that Nigeria, I believe, is killing Christians, and he's not going to allow it, that's bothering him more so than the shootings that happened in our own country a week ago and the regular killing of women in our country on a regular daily basis. These things he's not concerned about, but Christians being killed in a foreign land is bothering him. This tells me that the signals I've been getting, the red flags I've been getting about his moves towards changing our military into Christian missionaries for Jesus and Christianity, sadly is coming true, and this is not acceptable. Our documents say we are not a Christian nation. Therefore, he has no right, even if he's in charge of the military, to do that. And so we need to stop this. And again, Supreme Court, you have the document to do this. It is possible to stop all of this nonsense that is going on currently in our country. When your own president looks more to other countries like Israel and now Nigeria than his own people, and he wants to use our resources and our military to go fight other people in other lands, this is just unacceptable. It's not my USA. It's not your USA. This is not what we signed up for. So it's time to act on my lawsuit. It's time for a new constitutional convention. It's not acceptable that we are stuck with this guy who is demolishing things in DC too, and I'm very concerned that we are being taken over by Christianity, by the Zionists, by Israel. And this is unacceptable. So, right now, we need to write the president, the vice president, write everybody, write the War Department, write the Congress, House, write your governor, tell them this is not acceptable. We start with the pen, and if we have to, we'll move to other measures. But for right now, we got to stop this. His priorities are not right. U.S. citizens come first, not Christians in a foreign land that we don't own. So write them, tell them this is wrong. You do not accept getting involved in another foreign war. Then we need to talk. The preamble says, "We the people, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility." So justice we have. Domestic tranquility we don't have. So we have no business going anywhere until we have domestic tranquility. Provide for a common defense, not war. We have to stop this imperialistic missionary stuff. Defense. Since when is being the aggressor being defensive? So provide for a common defense, not provide for a common war, not to provide for crusades. Defense. Nigeria is not attacking us. We have no business dealing with Nigeria. We have no business dealing with Israel. We have no business dealing with Russia and the Ukraine. Common defense. Promote the general welfare. General welfare is when somebody doesn't have a job, when they're down and out. So provide, and it's the basic minimum standard of living for U.S. citizens, which I was all over the U.S. last year, and I saw standards of living that made me cry. And I've heard stories that make me cry. This is not what our founding fathers fought the British over. This is not what it was. We need a higher standard of living for all. So, provide for common defense, promote the general welfare, secure the blessings of liberty. So, blessings of liberty means that you have freedom. And currently, when you want to ban abortion, you're restricting the freedoms of the woman who is a citizen because she's born. The 14th Amendment says if you're born, you're a citizen, and she's the citizen, not the embryo. Nowadays, they can take an embryo out of one woman and put it into another. So why don't you do that? So I think anyways that's what they've been doing as abortions go. They were just doing it behind the scenes. But now they can do it out in the open. And officially, if you go in for an abortion, take out the embryo and put it into another woman. And then she can have your embryo. So what you do, if you go for an abortion, you are giving your abortion, your unwanted pregnancy, to science. And then science will do with it what it will. That's how it works. But no state, no government has a right to restrict freedom of any sort. So by making a woman stay pregnant, you are making her a slave to the embryo. By making her stay pregnant, you are turning her into an indentured servant to that future embryo that could also miscarry at any time. So if a girl or woman is pregnant, it is up to her, the citizen, what she wants to do with her body. And if she no longer wants to be pregnant, the U.S. and no state has any right to force her to stay pregnant. It's securing the blessings of liberty. Securing the blessings of liberty. It doesn't mean that she's going to want the embryo destroyed. It just means she doesn't want to be responsible for it. And she has that right. So if you are in a state that is forcing you to stay pregnant, you need to sue them to give you the right to not be pregnant. I mean, the other thing you can do is don't eat like you want to be pregnant. Don't drink like you want to be pregnant. And then you will naturally miscarry anyways. In the Bible, there is a medicine concoction prescribed for women who want abortions. So you can make that. It's in your Bible. So, go ahead and do that. But if you don't want to be pregnant, then don't be pregnant. There are many ways to not be pregnant. So that's up to you. I recommend that the states have certain places where you go for these procedures. And like I said, the embryo can be taken out of one woman and put into another who wants a baby. Or it could be also taken for science, experimentation, or whatever. Or if you leave it up to the woman, if you say you're banning it and then you leave it up to the woman to do with her body what she will, then you lose that opportunity. You lose the opportunity to save the embryo, to put it into another woman, or to use it for science. So you states out there need to think about that yourself. But our Constitution says secure the blessings of liberty. And since that embryo is not a citizen, it is illegal and it doesn't have any rights. Period. None. Yes, it's life, but miscarriages happen all the time. In fact, 70% of pregnancies end in miscarriage. So, you know, that's how it goes. Especially since women are getting pregnant later, too. You know, 70% end in miscarriage. Natural, normal miscarriage. Not even abortion. Miscarriage. That's when you want to be pregnant. So, if you don't want to be pregnant, the miscarriage rate goes up even higher, probably, I would assume. So, that's up to you, states. That's up to you, Democrats and Republicans, currently. But hopefully, eventually, we'll get rid of you. And then it will be up to the state to provide a proper place where women can go and have their pregnancy removed in a safe way where you could benefit, states, from it. So this is where we're going. The blessings of liberty means not being enslaved, not being indentured servants, being in charge of your own life. So, by banning abortion, you are restricting and forcing women into slavery and into servitude, which is against the 13th Amendment. It needs to stop. And if you live in one of those states, you need to sue your state so they will stop. So, the 14th Amendment also clearly states that no state has a right to make or enforce a law that will restrict your freedoms. So you can also use the 14th Amendment in your arguments. You can do it yourself, or you can do it with a professional lawyer. But banning these things is not acceptable. So you secure the blessings of liberty for yourself and your posterity. So you decide your posterity. You decide your children. Not the government, not your state, not your Christian neighbor, but you. You decide the fate of your children. For yourself and your posterity. And you do ordain and establish this Constitution. So on Constitution Day, we need to have that day off, and we need to have public ceremonies where we reaffirm our Constitution. And if we have cases where we don't reaffirm it, in every town hall, there should be a bell outside the town hall that is rung when someone has a grievance. And then those grievances get recorded, and they should get posted at the town hall, and maybe in a grievance book for the county. And they should make their way to whoever needs to hear it, whether it's the legislature or the governor or whatever the case may be, or maybe even the president. We need a bell. I also want to put up like a little cement wall where graffiti artists can come and put their visual complaints. Because some people are not good at speaking, so then they have to be visual. and maybe even a little platform so that musicians can come and perform their complaints. This should be all at the town hall so that the mayor can hear it, so that they can give that information to the appropriate people. Because we all live in a town, and the town is responsible for us, and then we're in a county, and then the county is in a state, and then the state is a United States. And then the United States is part of the world. And technically, this is state of the world. So I recommend this for all the world countries, too. We got to move away from this religious idol worshiping stuff we do. There is no reason. Here, there we go. There's no reason to worship any human over another, first off. Not in the way that we're doing currently. Then we all have capabilities of being great and living with integrity and truth. It's just some people choose not to, and some religions promote sinning and cheating. And that's exactly the religion we don't want to be spreading around the world. We don't want to pollute the world with cheating and manipulation and lies. I do think it's good that we are interested in what's going on in South America. We came over, and so did South America. So I should say we. The people who had better weapons won over the New World. And those were the Europeans. And there's like Northern Europe, and then there's Southern Europe. And so we got North America, and then we got South America. And this seems to be a divide, whatever. Now, we've been generationally here, so these are now our countries and our land and everything. And so much has happened, it's impossible to go backwards, but it doesn't mean we can't respect each other, and it doesn't mean we can't respect the native population or the indigenous population, and it also doesn't mean that we have to continue our direct contact with our host countries, the colonies, and where they came from. I think it is very proper to deal very good with Canada and Mexico. They are our direct neighbors. And even as Trump pointed out, Russia is a direct neighbor. Russia. I mean, Russia is a direct neighbor to pretty much everybody, Except, okay, they're not in Africa, and they're not in South America, but they're everywhere else. So, that is an interesting side. And the other part of that is that in our current times, the Northern European countries are trying to ignore the fact that Russia exists. So maybe it's time for Russia to move more to the Asias and to the Americas on this backside. But that's a whole nother thing. The real thing is these are where we border. These are the lands that border us. And so we need to first take care of our relationships there, and then expand from that. And moving to South America is a great place because there's lots of wonderful opportunities there, lots of great people, and they're not really a big ocean away. They're within walkable distance. So, this needs to stop. Aggression, wanting to spread religion, using taxpayer money to do that. No. It's Department of Defense. Promote the general defense. It's we the people, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for a common defense. That's what it is. Provide for a common defense. It doesn't say provide for war. And the rest of the world, they don't really want us spreading our Jesus around the world. They don't want it. So let the Nigerians take care of the Nigerians, and let the countries around there take care of their countries around them. And let's focus on you and me and the U.S. people for once. It's time. This is a stupid move. And it finally, it does show what you're really going for. And just because you're so old that you're worried about your future life in heaven is not my problem. There's no proof that a heaven exists anyways. And if you get there or not, that's your problem. But don't use my tax money to get you to heaven. No. No. Start leaving the other countries alone. No. We are not the police of the world. Sorry. Other countries need to take care of themselves. We got enough troubles here. So this is how it goes. State of the world is that Donald Trump he's organized his Christian army and is ready to deploy. And sadly, being commander-in-chief, he does have the ability to do exactly that. So, Supreme Court, if you are for continuing the crusades under President Trump, then don't do anything on my lawsuit. But if you think that what he's doing now is a good idea, if you actually don't think that what he's doing now is a good idea, if you don't want your tax money and my tax money to go for war, religious war in another country, then it's time to act on my lawsuit. It's time to declare a state of emergency. It's time to call for a constitutional convention. It's time to call for a new election. And it's time to bring good change to our country. Our people need it. The world needs it. They don't need more religion forced upon them. Okay, so that is where we are with the state of the world. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have anything to comment, please do. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the page you're visiting. And my website is susan4usa.com. That's Susan, the number 4, USA.com. Thanks again for stopping by, and I hope we find peace and ceasefire very soon. Bye for now.